I thought wrong.
We always think.
It's
always so wrong.
We always think, we never think right.
We never know.
Motivational quote 2021. I'm tired. I need to wake up. Why do people keep telling me that yawning means that I'm depressed? They need to stop, because I get it. I yawn a lot, but how does that equate?
Who the fuck is saying that?
Because
I'm super depressed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yawning means that your brain isn't getting enough oxygen, okay?
I know, but apparently it's not getting enough oxygen because you're so fucking depressed.
No. I just forget to breathe.
No, we just forget to breathe because we want to die sometimes. Anywho,
Yeah.
This is the Red Wine Podcast. The podcast where we talk about murder, mysteries, and mishaps. Not our own, though. Nope, this is Kristen.
No, never.
Not at this moment in time. Not me getting incriminated for Sarah's murder. What? This is Kristen.
Bitch. If I get murdered, there's one place they're coming, and it's to the podcast, aka you.
Yeah, my search history, incriminating enough. Like, let's be honest. Come on. I once Googled how many cherry pits it would take. Oh, no. It's at the apple seeds that have arsenic. How many apple seeds it would take for you to poison yourself to death? I was just curious.
Just wondering,
Answer is a lot.
Enough. 'Tis I, Sara.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Apparently, Sarah's just here to drag my freaking essence down, apparently.
I know I said that I'd show up this week with something a little more lighthearted to bring our spirits back up from the tearful episode that Kristen had last. But yeah, this is not that, so I'm sorry, not sorry.
Oh, great. So I expect you to be completely hammered by the time this is done to make up for it.
I have my trusty Walmart Cabernet next to me.
Yep.
I'm actually drinking it out of the glass your mom made for me that says I'm one glass away from bringing up a bunch of shit from 3 years ago.
Oh my God. I saw your little post on Twitter.
Yeah, I just posted in that tweet you can only see
a bunch of shit.
But I kind of liked it because I was like, that's me right now. I'm one glass away from bringing up a bunch of shit.
Exactly.
Okay?
And I am fucking one existential crisis away from fucking dyeing my hair purple, which I already did. Hi.
Kristen has purple hair.
It's fun.
It looks so cute. I love it.
Thanks. I have my I have a family member that is celebrating their 50th or 60th, some kind of like really long year of marriage. Great for them. Really, it's great to see that people can actually do it. But for the party, they want to do purple, and so I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna show up with purple hair. So
all out or fall out, dude.
Exactly. So
is that even a thing? Whatever.
It is now.
Nice.
But yeah, it's fun stuff. Oh, yeah. I'm enjoying it so far. And we'll see. I'm thinking blue next.
Ooh, fun.
Mm-hmm.
I did something fun with my hair last week. I got a haircut. That was much needed. And the girl who cut my hair, she cut it for me like a year and a half ago when I went to spring break, and I had this really cute, layered, almost mullet look. And so I saw her again, and she remembered me, and I was like, I want the same thing. But she did my bangs kind of like too curtainy. Yeah. Like they're not very, so I need to kind of trim them up a little bit. But
so looks good.
I'm all thin down bottom and
like a mullet.
Short on top.
Yeah. I can dig it.
That's as fun as it gets over here.
All right. Well, enough fun for today, I guess. I'm just ready to get my night ruined. So, what are we talking about today, I guess? I don't know. I'm like,
well, I don't know. You didn't say what you're drinking. I don't know if we should do that. I just threw what I was drinking in there, you know?
No, yeah, we can hold it off for another second. I'm drinking a White Claw. Are we surprised? No, I should have had wine, but my mom has had a bottle of wine opened, like, that she never finished, and I can't open a new bottle without finishing that bottle.
Yeah.
And right now I'm playing a game with her as who is going to drink the old disgusting wine first. And right now it's a tie.
It's been open for like 2 days.
Yeah, it's been open for like 3 or 4. That's why I'm like, oh yeah, no. Whoever's getting that is is a sore ass loser. So hopefully it's not me. I'll keep y'all updated. But for right now I have a White Claw.
Holy shit, speaking of updates, I forgot I have an update on my last case. Oh my god!
When did we ever have these close to
Holy
never?
shit! I know. I think this is my first update with an actual update, not like a correction or whatever.
Not just us fucking up.
So the last story I told was about the Candyman killer, Dean Corll.
Yes.
And at the end of the story, we touched on how it's a strong belief by investigators and others involved that there are more victims of Dean Corll's somewhere, that, because his 2 accomplices only knew
there was just no way
the victims
that
they helped out with. Right. And he was, 30 something years old. And so obviously he probably had a history of doing this thing before his accomplices helped out. So I found an article that was published 2 days ago, and it was updated today. And I literally was doing research for my case today, and somehow this popped up. It was so random. So it's basically talking about how, they believe that there's more victims, and they're really starting to look at it heavier now, and they're using new technology to hopefully find the more victims.
That's good.
So, they're using the information they have and the timelines they have. And so basically they're using a technique known as ground penetration to try and find more remains.
I have heard of that. They use vibrations or shit to find out what's in the ground. It's pretty crazy.
Right. So they're basically optimistic that if they get to the right place or location, that they'll have the right equipment to measure things and to see, what's underground. And they're very determined and optimistic. So I thought it was going to describe right here exactly what ground penetration is. Yeah, it's a geophysical method that uses radar pulses to image the subsurface. And that's kind of what I thought it was.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool and really awesome that they are continuing their search and really trying to recover more victims. So
yeah, I feel like even though we spend 99.9% of our time talking shit about law enforcement, they do they do good out there, guys. So it is good to hear them doing good with this case and actually trying to get some justice for the families out there that are probably don't even have a voice. We don't even know that they need it.
Yeah,
so.
And they're still missing their children that we don't even
know about.
We aren't even aware about. Yeah.
Damn. Well, thank you, Sarah, for that update.
You're welcome.
I feel like a proud mom. So proud of you for having your first official one.
Well, I was literally about to forget about it until you said the word update. So thank you.
Yeah.
But all right, we'll just get into it, dude. This one is called The Children of Thunder. Cue thunder noises.
And cue my child screaming in the background. I think that was like perfect timing.
Oh, great. Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Theodore.
This one is pretty insane. It's, I love my elemental stories.
Yeah, so I'm like, children, I'm already kind of scared.
The name
is deceiving.
Yeah, it doesn't involve children.
Oh, that is
I was going to say the
deceiving.
name is deceiving, but I'll touch on what the name means towards the end.
Okay.
So it does involve, it's in California, and it does involve 2 different counties in California that are kind of nearby. And so I will be going back and forth a little bit at one point. So if I get confusing, just let me know, like, stop me, I'll clear it up. I'm going to try and not be confusing, but so this one involves a couple of different instances that end up tying together, and it is a little culty. So I just wait for it.
Okay.
That stuff will get to us kind of towards the end as well.
Okay.
But here we go. We are going to start out in Woodacre, California. It's in Marin County, which is 20 miles north of San Francisco.
Okay.
So Woodacre is a tiny town. Everyone knows everyone. And it's just a small community. So around 5 a.m. on August 3rd, 2000, it sounds so weird, or it feels weird to say the year 2000.
It just reminds me of that one.
It's
Jonas
like, I want to be like
Brothers.
2000. That's the only thing I correlate it to.
Year 3000.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
That's pretty much it.
That's all that happened. I'm just kidding.
Y2K.
Because this also happened in 2000. So around 5 a.m. on August 3rd, 2000, the small community of Woodacre was awoken to the noise of multiple gunshots.
Ew.
A resident called 911 and reported the gunshots. I'm unclear as to exactly who called 911 and how police knew exactly where to go.
Mm-hmm.
But they were called to a studio apartment, and it was attached to a home. So I don't know if the person who lived in the house like called 911 because they heard the gunshots, and they were like, it sounded like it was in the apartment attached to my house. That's what I assume happened, but it wasn't clarified.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that.
I just think back. I just think back to the one time that my mom was here home alone. It was when I don't know if I was like not living here or whatnot, but I just wasn't here for the night. And my mom gets this random knock at the door, and it's this cop, and he's like, I got a call from this area, and it's pinpointing me to this location, and like, you need to let me in and make sure that, like, I need to make sure that you're okay in order to cancel this call. My mom's like, I'm not gonna let you in, like, I'm here by myself, I'm not gonna open the door for you. And he's like, I need you to open the door for me to make sure that you're okay. And my mom's like, what the fuck, I didn't call 911, like, how do you even know, like, how that this house is the one that called? Like, she was just so confused.
Not how it works.
Yeah, and it was like 3 a.m, and my neighbor thankfully is a cop, so she texted him and was like, hey, come over. And he went over, and they did the cop talk, and he basically said that they like triangulated the location. I guess like someone made a call, and from the cell towers they pinpointed it to around her location. So I don't know if that's like something that they did with this or what, but even then it's like, obviously you can get the wrong house if it's...
Yeah, that's not what they did with this because of my next
and it's 2000
few bullet points. Well, yeah. But yeah, what I assumed happened is that people who lived in so the studio apartment that the police got called to was behind the garage of a single unit family home. So you had to go, it was tucked in the back of the house. You had to go behind the house to gain entry. And so you wouldn't know it was there unless you knew it was there.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So when a police approached the door to the apartment, it was unlocked. I watched an episode on this. I'll obviously like source it. Why I can't like remember the name of the show right now, but they do the reenactments, and in the reenactment, the police walks up and the door is kind of slightly ajar, but it just says that it was unlocked. Yeah. So I don't know if it was actually open, but it was definitely unlocked.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned, it was hard to kind of just stumble across that apartment. So police definitely took note of that when they arrived. And when they enter the apartment, they do see 2 deceased victims on the bed. Because remember, it's a studio apartment, so the bed was like right there out in the open space. They didn't have to go searching through bedrooms or anything.
Yeah, it's just an open room.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
The 2 victims are identified as 45-year-old Jenny Valerian and 54-year-old Jim Gamble. Jim was on the floor next to the bed, like adjacent, right directly next to it, and Jennifer was still lying in bed. They were both naked and laying surrounded by blood from their gunshot wounds. Jenny had been shot at twice, and Jim had been shot at 4 times. So the 6 shell casings that were recovered from the scene were 9mm caliber, and this gave off the impression that a semi-automatic handgun had been used. And yeah, I kind of know what that means. They do obviously show pictures of the weapon and stuff in the show, and that's the only reason why.
Yeah, no, I don't. I know, no, I don't.
Yeah. So, by the way their bodies were, it seemed, like they were kind of cozy in bed and obviously startled by something, because Jenny was still laying like on her back in the bed under the covers, and Jim, it looked like maybe he had tried to get up and then got shot and like had fallen, or
Yeah, I was about to say, it kind of seems like they weren't naked like on accident, like.
Oh no, they were boyfriend girlfriend.
Yeah.
So they were like literally
chilling,
sleeping, and got awoke by the boom booms.
Oh my god.
Sorry. That's what I call gunshots to my dog.
Okay.
The boom booms and the pop pops.
Yep.
So there wasn't any evidence found besides the shell casings. So besides being shocked at this double murder in this super small town, police and investigators were left with a mystery. Apparently the last homicide in this area was like, I'm so sorry. I maybe it's because my mouth is dry.
Maybe because I asked you to keep chugging. Who knows?
Maybe it's because I just chugged red wine. The last homicide. Why do I keep saying homicide?
We just really want some hummus right now, man.
I know. Chickpeas, man.
Oh, I'm so hungry.
Apparently, the last homicide in this area was like a decade before this, a literal 10 years.
Shit.
So it was unheard of.
And this is
especially a double homicide.
Wow.
Sorry?
And this is in California, right?
Yes.
Damn.
North of San Fran. So when police look into Jenny and Jim's backgrounds to figure out, exactly who they were and maybe if anyone or who would want them dead, they really could not find any ill will, no enemies. And they did find out that the apartment that they were in actually belonged to Jenny's daughter, 22-year-old Selena Bishop, who was not on the scene. So because Selena was not there and they weren't aware of where she was, they treated her absence as a missing persons case. I did read in maybe a source or two that that Selena and her boyfriend went camping And so Jenny and Jim were house sitting for them, and that's why they were there. But police didn't know if they were camping, they didn't know that. So they literally, and they weren't aware of Selena having a boyfriend. Like no one was there to tell them that. So they treated Selena's absence as a missing persons case. And because just from their perspective, she was missing. She could not be found. And remember, it's 2000, so resources are a little different.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah. Is she sus? She's sus, right?
What was strange is no, not right away, because my immediate thought was like, well, she obviously had something to do with it.
That's my thought.
And, well, it'll unfold, obviously, but she did not have anything firsthand to do with her mother's death.
Sorry, homegirl. I didn't mean it.
Yeah, so
I take it back.
But it's a legit assumption, because in a lot of cases,
well, fuck,
it's family.
Man. I just think back to that fucking Canada case where the daughter, like, I mean, it's not unheard of for children to kill their families.
Yeah, it's usually family members, whether it's a spouse or so.
Super rare. It's random.
And so, like I mentioned, we'll be hopping around from county to county. That's not happening quite yet, but I do want to mention that I am going to be doing a little timeline twisty-turvy. Okay. So just expect that. If the chain of events gets confusing down the line,
if I get
just
confused,
let me know.
Ask you questions.
Yeah. And I'll try to answer them.
Oh, that sounds so confident.
So, my whole story is just a little twisted, to be honest, because you know how, like, a lot of times we like to talk about victims at the end. I do that, but I also kind of talk about them throughout the middle. So I'm going to mention a little bit about Jennifer, aka Jenny Valerian, right now, who was the one found murdered in the bed. Jenny Valerian was a bartender at a local bar called the Paper Mill Creek Saloon. And this bar was described as the center of the social scene in Woodacre. I can't imagine them having many. Maybe I should have looked up like the population or something. But this saloon was the center of the social scene, and that should say something, because it was a small community. And to Jenny, she worked there, throughout her life, and to her, she didn't feel like she was just working in a bar or at some bar. She just felt as though she was just hanging out with friends when she was working, because she just seemed to like know everyone, and you just chat with everyone. So she really enjoyed it. She was a kind and fun, free spirit. So it was no surprise when she met a blues musician named Elvin Bishop, and they fell in love. Oh. So I believe he played a gig in the saloon, and that's how they met. But I could be wrong on that. Like, don't quote me. And apparently he was like famous or semi-famous, because I mean, after they met and fell in love, he wrote a hit pop like blues song in 1976 called "Fooled Around and Fell in Love," and it was about Jenny. Oh. Yeah. Like, wow.
I want a song written about me.
I got goosebumps from that. Yeah. They would go on to have their daughter, Selena Grace Bishop, on October 17th, 1977.
Oh my God, and then your kid can hear your song and be like, yeah, oh, that's about your mom.
But, Elvin decided he wanted to continue touring for his music and being a blues musician. So Jenny became a single mom to Selena, and a dedicated one at that. So, she really adored her daughter and worked very hard to provide, a decent life for them.
Oh, yeah.
So she continued to work at the saloon, throughout, like I said, throughout her life. And when times were rough, she'd even work other, kind of odd jobs or multiple jobs. One of her friends from the show I watched mentioned, if someone needed their house cleaned, she'd clean their house, or, So she was really well known and loved by the community. And she had this longtime friend named Jim Gamble. And I'm not sure when it became like more than a friend situation and more of like a boyfriend-girlfriend situation. Some sources said longtime friends, but like they were romantically involved. Some sources said boyfriend-girlfriend. So I don't know if they had a label on it, but they were longtime friends. And Jim Gamble, he was, just a few years older than her. Like I mentioned, she was 45. He was like 54.
Not bad.
And more than a few, but not bad. And so he had recently retired from a career in software to take care of his elderly mother. He was described as a gentle giant, funny, kind, generous, and he would apparently do anything for Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
On the night before their death, on Wednesday, August 2nd, Jenny was working at the bar, and Jim brought her dinner just to be sweet, like as a romantic gesture. And apparently, from what I understood, they left together from the saloon at around 11 p.m. They walked back to Selena's apartment, and that was the last time they were seen. She walked out of the saloon, waved bye to everyone, made sure everything was cool. So they went back to Selena's apartment, not knowing what was about to come. So at this point, like I mentioned, they didn't have any evidence. They were looking into Jenny and Jim's backgrounds and found no enemies. So they really didn't have any leads or suspects. So they turned their attention and focus onto 22-year-old Selena Bishop for answers.
Yeah, because I was going to say,
where is she? Like, Selena.
Well, what's her situation then? Yeah, if she's... yeah.
And I will mention, I don't really I'm going to get into her like a little bit right now, but I won't bring her back up until a little later. So
okay.
I tried to make it all mold, baby. We'll see.
Mold it.
So like I mentioned, they can't locate her. This is, I think, before there were, cell phones and car phones, but it wasn't as common for someone to have one.
Oh, this is 2000. Like cell phones were not even really a thing.
I'm sure they were trying to see if there was a way to get a hold of her. She had a pager, but they couldn't get a hold of her, and they ultimately wanted to locate her if anything, because they were concerned about her safety, as well as like wondering if she knew anything about her mother's death. But they were concerned about her safety because
where have you been, girl?
Yeah, I think they were...
Bella, where the hell you been, Loca?
Yeah, I think because it's a small town, so I think because maybe a lot of people knew them, they didn't assume that she had anything to do with it.
They were just wanting to make sure that she was safe.
And she's missing, so they were really concerned about her safety. So, like I mentioned, they label her as a missing persons. They hang posters with identifiable information, such as her height. She was 5'3". She had a shoulder tattoo that was, I think, kind of on the back of her shoulder. Mm-hmm. And they're just searching and canvassing, kind of. They put a search out for her vehicle, or whatever you call that thing, like an MV.
Missing. Oh my God! I just read this.
I did save a dictionary of true crime and legal terms to be aware of, but have I read it? No.
ATL, attempt to locate.
Yeah, that sounds right. Not what I was thinking, but it sounds right. Well, and that could be towards a person or a vehicle or whatever, a bicycle. So this is where we get a little twisty-turvy, and a little cray-cray into the next county.
Let me put my seatbelt on.
Okay. Because Sarah's driving.
Oh, fuck.
So on that same morning of August 3rd, 2000, which was a Thursday, 50 miles east of Woodacre in Concord, California. Sorry, I'm like not getting into the counties. I meant like towns, but so in Concord, California, 52-year-old Nancy Hall goes to her parents' house, and on the front doorstep, she notices something kind of odd. There's a stack of newspapers piled up.
Oh.
There were 4 newspapers in a stack, dated from July 30th until August 3rd. And she's there on the 3rd. So this was strange to her because she knew that if her parents were to go somewhere for a few days, they would cancel the paper. Because it was back then where
it costs money.
You could skip days and stuff. And there weren't like subscriptions. It was, So I believe she had a key because her parents were elderly. And so she goes into the home and, looks around for her parents, and she doesn't see them, but she does come across a few things that were odd. One, they had 2 cats. One of them was locked upstairs in a bathroom, and the other cat was locked outside without any food or water. She found her dad's gold watch in the couch, and some of the links were kind of like torn or broken, kind of, or like crooked. I don't know. Her parents, 78-year-old Annette and 85-year-old Ivan Steinman, were nowhere to be found. So she calls the police because the last time she had talked to them was about 4 days prior to that.
And it's been so we have a fucking serial killer on our hands.
So they're not serial killers. They are considered spree killers. Because of the amount of people who do get murdered in the short amount of time, I believe. So
wait.
Serial killers, it's the amount of people over a longer span of time.
It's like more than 3 people.
Yeah, and it's more, it has to do with the amount of people and the time span, I believe.
Hold on.
Because in this,
Google. Okay, so a spree killer is someone who kills 2 or more victims in a short time in multiple locations.
Oh.
Whereas
so location.
A serial killer is a person who commits a series of murders, often with no apparent motive and typically following a characteristic.
Okay. Well, after this story, you'll definitely see the clear
3
difference
or more
between
people, but we're at 4. I guess, yeah.
Yeah, well, 2. It's over 2.
Oh, over
You'll
2.
You'll see at the end the difference because, with the serial killer, it mentions with no like seemed motive, although there is a lot of times some kind of motive. But with this one, like there's definitely a motive and a reason behind it all. And it's not like, it's not all random. So it's really crazy how they begin to connect.
Ooh.
Or this story like melds together. So, so obviously Nancy calls the police right away. And during the investigation and search for the elderly couple, their neighborhood was canvassed and neighbors were questioned. One neighbor that lived on the same street as the Steinmans noticed 2 young men dressed like Mormon missionaries walking around about 9:30 at night. And I did not get what day this was that she saw this, but I assume we have a short timeline in our minds right now. I'll let you kind of take a guess, and I will go on to say later when exactly it was said that maybe they were departed from their home.
Yeah. And sorry, I did find the difference and why it's considered a spree killer. So a serial killer, the murders take place over more than a month and includes a significant period of time between the killings. So that's why he's considered a spree killer. Or they're considered a spree killer. Sorry, I don't know who the killer is.
Definitely makes sense. So this neighbor / witness saw these two men dressed like missionaries talking to Annette and Ivan on their doorstep that night.
Mm-hmm.
But she walked away from her window and like didn't see anything else because I guess she didn't really think anything of it. So police do note this. I think she even mentioned that one of them had long hair, like in a ponytail. So it was something to at least, jot down. And so remember, this was in Concord. We're going to go back to Woodacre now, where the search for Selena is still underway. Her family and friends, obviously, they're talking to investigators, and they let them know about Selena's boyfriend that she had met about 3 months prior. They met at a rave. But they hadn't, like, none of her friends and family had met her boyfriend.
Oh.
And they only knew him by the name of Jordan.
Oh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to hop right in real quick. Hi, if you're listening to this podcast and you're dating someone, you need, like, it don't matter if it's your family, like, tell your best friend. Like, tell someone that no one knew because he was fucking controlling. We'll find out that
maybe Selena didn't even fucking know. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. There's still some holes and questions at the end, but apparently Jordan was reluctant to meet Selena's family and friends, but her mom, Jenny, did briefly meet him on one occasion. God. So Jenny, Selena's mom, her best friend, was featured in the episode I watched, and she was talking about how they hadn't met Jordan and they wanted to see what he was all about. So her and Jenny kind of concocted this little plan to randomly go over to Selena's apartment one day, and their excuse was that Jenny needed to borrow a top, like a shirt. Mm-hmm. So Jenny's friend like waits in the car, and Jenny knocks on the door, like goes in kind of real quick and comes out, I think probably with a shirt. And so when she gets back to the car, her friend was like, so, like, how was he? And she was like, well, he was handsome. But that was pretty much all she had to say.
But he was so he was for sure a real person, though. This isn't like an episode of Catfish. There was a real person.
Right.
Oh.
She did have some boyfriend named Jordan.
That makes it creepy.
Yeah. When Jordan and Selena met, or shortly after, he told her that he was going through a divorce and that he was about to inherit $100,000. Not from the divorce, but from some, like, a family, or I don't know. But he needed help with securing the funds so that his soon-to-be ex-wife couldn't get any of it in the divorce.
Okay.
So he asked or convinced, or Selena apparently agreed to put the money into her account to hold it for him. Or I read that maybe she possibly opened up a separate account under her name for that money specifically.
As an accountant, I strongly disadvise doing this.
Yeah. So although Jordan, never got introduced to Selena's family and friends, and her mom, Jenny, only met him that one time, Selena would still talk to her mom about Jordan, and she was still pretty open about the relationship. Selena told her mom about the $100,000 being inherited and how he wanted her help, because I think, Jenny ended up telling her friends because it was like a known thing. This, obviously will come back later. So when police find this information out by family and friends, they find it sketchy, because who the fuck does that?
Yeah.
Like, hi, I just met you, and can you hold this $100,000 for me?
I'm just like
what the fuck?
Okay, and so where's Selena and where's this fucking Jordan guy?
They don't know. Because remember, they don't know where Selena is, and this is police just now finding out about Jordan.
It's all stinky.
Although the family and friends who are telling police about Jordan haven't met Jordan, police and investigators, or I should just say investigators, they go to the Two Bird Cafe where Selena waitressed, and they find out that some coworkers there had actually met him, and so they knew more information. They told investigators that Jordan lived somewhere in the East Bay with his brother Justin, but they didn't have an address. That was all they knew. But something else interesting that investigators find out while they're at the Two Bird Cafe was that Selena had left her pager there. I don't know if it was just the last time she worked, she forgot it. That was pretty much the assumed thing.
That's not what happened, though.
So, management had it and they turn it over to investigators.
It's probably what happened, but she hasn't gone back to get it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Ugh. This
reeks.
It reeks. I'm sorry.
Well, and we look back at that theory of if she went camping with her boyfriend, she's supposed to be out of town. Maybe. So if you just think about some of the different scenarios, it's what?
His boyfriend.
They didn't go camping. I'll just say that now. They did not go camping. So why'd she tell her mom that? What was she really doing? Or was that even a real fact I read? Who knows?
And
because so clearly she didn't have to work those next few days because then I didn't read anything about the Two Bird Cafe calling in and being she's not showing up for work. Where is she? So did she ask off because she's going quote unquote camping? And then
Are we getting to the fact that this girl was never found?
Well, she's found.
Oh, okay. Because it's just so I was about to go whoa, but it's just I don't know.
Okay.
You know what?
When police...
I got a little drunk.
When police get the pager in possession, they look at remember how some people called them beepers?
Me?
Well, I did too, I guess, even though I never had one. But when they look at the beeper records, or I guess they're called records, I don't know, to see who had been beeping her, they don't see the name Jordan anywhere.
If you want to
reach me.
Sorry. I had to.
Yes. They don't see the name Jordan anywhere, her boyfriend, but they do recognize another name that is popping up very frequently. And this is the name of Justin Helzer. And they were able to, by looking at the phone number, figure out where it was coming from. And this was in Concord, California.
Oh, was this a saucy little affair?
No.
Oh.
Dude, it's crazy. Okay, so remember, they had just learned that this dude Jordan lived with his brother Justin. They immediately look into these two dudes because they have the name of at least Justin Helzer at this point. So they begin to connect the dots.
Yeah.
So because they have Justin Helzer's full name, they look into him, look at his record. They find out that 2 months earlier, Justin had purchased a 9mm pistol.
Okay. Red
which
flag
was the
one.
same weapon used in the double murders of Jenny and Jim at the top of the episode.
Ugh.
So now they have this weird link between Selena's boyfriend, which is still just Jordan at this point, and his brother, Justin, who live in Concord, where these two elderly people are missing, as well as purchasing a gun used to kill Selena's mom and her mom's boyfriend. So they're definitely starting to link things, although they don't have much to go off of. Investigators working on Jenny and Jim's case contact the Concord investigators to fill them in a little bit, and ask if they can watch Justin's house to get more information. But Woodacre investigators, they don't know about the Concord investigation into their missing elderly couple. They just have made the connection of Justin and Jordan living there. So they connect with the Concord investigators or the police, and they let them know what's going on the Woodacre end and how Justin came about, So they ask Concord police to watch his house to get more information, specifically on who exactly was living there. Because they know that the address kind of pinpoints it's under Justin's name, but they're wanting to know more on his brother, this Jordan dude. So they're kind of unsure. They want more information.
Yeah.
So after the house being watched, they find out brothers Justin Helzer and Glenn Taylor Helzer live at the house.
So, no wonder he used a different name. So, what's his name is Glenn?
Glenn Taylor. Yeah, I don't know why.
Oh, so, Taylor is Glenn.
Yep. Glenn Taylor Helzer.
You go, Glenn Coco.
Yes.
I would fucking change my name too. You're the butt of... I mean, I get that Mean Girls wasn't out yet, but Glenn, come on.
But we'll see that the changing the name thing was fucking stupid because why?
So wait,
you'll see.
Sorry, I'm tipsy. What was this? Oh, no.
No, you have it right.
Again?
You have it right.
Taylor?
There's just more to it in a second.
No, it was Taylor.
Glenn Taylor Helzer.
No, but what was
the boyfriend? Is Jordan.
Jordan is Glenn.
Yes.
I guess. Okay, sorry. I forgot what his alias was. I thought it was Taylor.
Yeah. So, after Concord police relay this information to the Woodacre investigators, they also send them photos from their IDs so that they have photo identity of them.
Yeah.
And Woodacre investigators take these photos to the Two Bird Cafe to see if, obviously, if Selena's boyfriend Jordan could have actually been one of these two men under an alias.
Ugh.
So Glenn Taylor was positively identified as being Jordan because the coworkers who had met Jordan could point him out. So this is obviously great news in the search for Selena because they finally have suspects and people who are adding up, And so they finally just see this as like a major step in the investigation. I am going to talk a little bit about the Helzer brothers now. Mm-hmm. Justin Helzer and Glenn Taylor Helzer, a.k.a. Taylor, because Glenn Taylor does go by Taylor, his middle name.
Yeah, you can see why.
But it's funny because, then, why make up your name Jordan? And, I just...
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah, dude's deranged. That's what I say for all the males when they act crazy, It's not time of the month for them.
Me too. We're on the same cycle.
Oh my gosh.
Taylor and Justin did have a younger sister. I'm not going to say her name. It does in some of the resources, but she's not at all involved in this other than their upbringing. So
not necessary.
They all grew up in an extremely religious household. It was a very traditional Mormon upbringing. Considering this, it said that they had a relatively normal childhood, nothing concerning, I guess you could say, but who knows, really. There wasn't a lot on it. I didn't care to dig too deep. Anyways,
it's not
Glenn
that
Taylor.
It's not that I don't care. I just
don't. Glenn Taylor, who went by Taylor, was born on July 26, 1970, being the bigger brother to Justin, who was born on February 12th, 1972. After high school, both boys went and served 2 years in the missionary field, which was, I guess, necessary as part of their faith. After Taylor's missionary mission, he became a stockbroker. I did read that maybe he served some time in the military, but I couldn't get that too confirmed. But he eventually became a stockbroker, and he did end up marrying a Mormon woman and having 2 children. But feeling confined to his faith and the family life, Taylor decided that it wasn't for him.
Wow.
And he fucking dipped after 3 years after they married.
Wow. I mean, the wife probably didn't see that as a blessing, but I'm sure, like,
she seemed, yeah, I don't know. She came out with some statements during the whole ordeal and trial, I think. Not in the trial, but just, through media or interviews. And she is the one who said that he felt confined to his faith and, like, wanted out. And so it kind of seemed like she was understanding, but who knows how she felt in the moment. Like, I don't know. Maybe she just really, she swerved
she's like, I really fucking dodged a bullet with that
dodged
one,
a bullet.
so
that's what I was looking for.
I'm gonna just count my blessings. Thank you, God. I will.
Because I literally didn't even find out he was married or even had children until later in my research. And because I don't know. I'm about to get into it, but Taylor was described as a natural leader growing up, with Justin being his younger brother. Apparently Justin really looked up to his older brother Taylor, but Taylor kind of fed off of that and would call himself number 1 and Justin number 2. And so he, like, really let that get to his head at an early age.
Yeah, became a narcissist.
After serving in the ministry for his 2 years, Justin became a cable installer. So one of the things that was confusing to me is because, so at some point they both either get excommunicated or removed from the Mormon church community. Oh, sure. And I did read somewhere that they both got excommunicated for drug use.
Oh, shit.
But I don't know how true that is, because, like, with Taylor, it could have been with his divorce, how he was feeling confined to his faith and his family. Ew, and his brother could have just, like, fallen under his influence.
What kind of drug use?
It could have been drugs, because we do find out later they were into drugs, at least at the time of these crimes. So,
what kind of drugs are we talking about, though?
Well, in general, to be excommunicated, I think it literally
is anything.
Anything.
Like alcohol, too?
Probably.
Yeah.
Just as headway was being made to find Selena and Woodacre, they're making these discoveries about the Helzer brothers and everything. Headway was also being made in Concord in the search for Annette and Ivan Steinman. So on the morning of Sunday, August 6th, their minivan was found in a really bad or sketchy part of Oakland, California, which was 20 miles away from their home in Concord. It was found with the windows rolled down and rap music blaring from the speakers. So police carefully approach the vehicle, but they see that, like, no one is inside. It's just abandoned. The next day, Monday, August 7th, Concord police go on the news or go live, to ask for help in finding the elderly couple. And they got pretty lucky, I think, because a lady named Vicky Sexton, who is a bank manager, was watching the news that day and immediately recognized the couple they were searching for as being her clients. She calls the police because she had some information of like some sketchy shit that had gone down that week that they would probably want to hear. So it was like that day when she went into work, investigators were waiting for her in her office to hear what she had to say. And she tells them that 5 days earlier, on Wednesday, August 2nd, a client comes rolling straight into her office. A woman in a wheelchair who is wearing a
Okay, I'm like, whoa, I thought that was a laugh. No, I know for sure it is. Is this like...
It's just one of the puns I had.
Okay, let's hear it.
No, I already said it.
No!
God damn it.
I'm sorry.
I'll re-say it. A client comes rolling straight into her office. A woman in a wheelchair who was wearing...
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're doing great, sweetie. I love it. No. That was so good. That was so good, hon.
Okay, right.
Love it. Yes.
Who is wearing driving gloves and dressed in like a lime green cotton two-piece outfit, almost like a tracksuit type of thing. Comes to her with a couple of checks that she wants to deposit. And the reenactment, she was also wearing like this purple cowgirl hat. But I really don't know. Like, maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. She probably did wear some sort of hat to cover. She was obviously trying to go undercover, so she probably was wearing some sort of hat to cover her hair and head. So maybe it was a purple cowgirl hat, but...
No, it was me with my hair sprayed in the shape of a cowgirl hat.
You should do that.
Right, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
So this chick has a couple of checks she wants to deposit. The odd thing was that the checks were made from the Steinman's account, like they were under their name, had their names on them, their address, their bank account number, and they were made out to Celine Bishop. There were two checks.
I thought you said she's not a sus girl.
Just hold on.
Okay.
There were two checks, I think, and they totaled to $100,000.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, you did say... Okay, never mind. I forget the one guy. He was sketchy. He used one... Okay.
This lady tells the bank manager that she would like to deposit the checks into Selena Bishop's account. This lime green lady clearly wasn't Selena, okay? She was going by the name of Jackie. This is obviously suspicious to the bank manager, so she asks Jackie what her relationship was to Selena. And Jackie says she's a family friend and that Selena was the Steinman's granddaughter and that Selena needed to have surgery that cost $100,000. So her loving grandparents wrote her the checks to pay for her surgery.
I'm sorry, in what I'm not a doctor by any means. I'm not a plastic surgeon or any kind of surgeon. I know maybe there is, but $100,000.
No, surgery's expensive. Depending on
not,
yeah, it's.
But like, okay, like 10,000. I'm just thinking. I just know boob jobs. Maybe open heart surgery.
Yeah.
Do you
I don't know. My brother
artery?
had like lung failure and collapsed, not lung failure, but collapsed lungs. I don't know. That shit gets expensive because it's not just the surgery, it's the hospital bills.
So it's not ridiculous to ask $100,000. No wonder.
Well, I mean, we'll see that it's all bullshit anyways. So
yeah, that's why another reason.
I'm like trying to like be like reasonable behind it.
Well, I mean, granted, the only surgeries I have looked at are the plastic of the plastic variety, but it's only hit like the $20,000 limit. I mean, like, the women that hit the $100,000 mark, they have, like, multiple surgeries.
Well, okay,
so.
just imagine, like, life-saving surgeries.
I know,
Not
okay. Kristen, stop being selfish.
like people who actually need their health fixed.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. No, I get it. When people are dying.
People are dying, Kristen.
Kim, there are people dying. I'm sorry, I just really want my boobs done.
I'm rooting for you. Fuck it. So, as sketchy as all this was, the bank manager, I believe, took the checks, but she didn't authorize the deposit because she definitely wanted more information, and she wouldn't authorize them until she did get information. So, as the investigators find all of these things out, things are starting to add up even more. They're starting to make more sense because now we have Selena's name in connection to the Steinman's name, as well as this random ass lime green chick.
I'm sorry.
The checks may have been green too, baby.
I'm sorry. I'm here. You're doing a good job at making this a little lighthearted.
Yeah. Good. Investigators from Woodacre and Concord team up to locate Selena and the Steinmans, who they now think have been kidnapped by the Helzer brothers, because remember, they still haven't been found.
Yeah.
Police obtain a search warrant to find Justin's 9mm gun. So, because this is like all they knew what to look for at this point, and they knew like where they lived, so they went for it. So the SWAT team goes to the Helzer brothers' home, and they find in the home Taylor Helzer, Justin Helzer, and a 26-year-old woman named Dawn Godman.
Yeah. Who the fuck is this bitch?
Dawn Godman.
Who's this female?
I'm a bitch, you're a bitch, we're all bitches, okay? Dawn Godman had met Taylor in 1999 at a Mormons singles event.
Oh.
I'm not getting too much into her history or anything, but she did come from like a small town from somewhere. She ended up converting to Mormonism at a later age. She didn't grow up as a Mormon, so I will include that. She, like, apparently one of her friends introduced her to the Mormon church, and it changed her life, and so.
Interesting.
And she was the type of person to maybe have some self-love issues. She was heavier set, so apparently it was said that when she met Taylor at this Mormon single event, he approached her and like gave her attention, and she was like dumbfounded because no one ever did that, or no one ever just walked up to her and gave her attention. So she immediately kind of like fell under Taylor's, I don't want to say spell. Like control, but spell would be a good word. Charm. So this is also when she became the Helzer's brothers' roommate. It was said that her and Taylor had sexual relations at least once. Whatever that means. I read in literally one article that they were boyfriend-girlfriend, but I'm pretty positive they were not. So I think maybe she was targeted, and I'll get into that later on. So they find these three in the home. When police search, they apprehend them. When police search the home, they were looking for the 9mm pistol. Obviously, that's what they had the warrant for, but they found a bunch of other shit that did not look so good, okay? They found handcuffs, like a shit ton, rope, duct tape, a taser or tasers, leg irons, which are like shackles, you could say. Basically, a bunch of shit used to tie people up or to restrain someone.
Lovely.
They also find documents with the Steinmans' names on them. So, this is fucking funny. While investigators are searching through the Heltzer's house, while the SWAT team is there, while these three are in custody, somehow Taylor Heltzer escapes custody. He was just in his boxers, so he runs off. He's running through the neighborhood, through backyards, hopping fences, when he eventually starts banging on the back door of this lady's house. And she opens up the door because she thinks she thinks he's a friend of her son's at first.
In his boxers. I'm sorry, but even if that's a friend, if he's in his boxers, he's on a drug rampage, you keep that door closed, you call the police. Oh my gosh, lady, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sure you're very sweet, but that is not what you do. And cops... handcuffs.
I know. I'm like, he had shackles in his house. Why not use them on him?
Oh my gosh.
So Taylor forces his way past her into her home. He says, "If you call the police, I'll kill you." He grabs a knife from her kitchen and starts making demands. He's asking her for things basically because he needed to change his appearance, like, super quick.
Ew.
So he gets some scissors and he cuts off some of his hair because he had long hair. He had demanded for a change of clothes, so he puts on the clothes and he fucking runs away. So this lady calls the police ASAP, and they got the general location of where she lives, and they eventually swarm Taylor during his attempted escape. So he's back in custody, and now police can continue their search of the Heltzer home with a peace of mind, I guess. During their search, they noticed that a lot of the carpets in the home were wet and had air blowers trying to dry them. They also see some little red spots or specks on the walls in some areas. So when they use a luminol test in the house, they find major blood evidence in multiple areas of the home, especially in the living room and in the bathroom. They also found various narcotics, including rohypnol, aka the date rape drug.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, they're looking for the 9mm gun, and it's nowhere to be found at this point. And this is what the warrant is for. So at this point, without finding the 9mm, they can only arrest Taylor for, like, breaking and entering in the woman's home when he escaped custody. And they arrested Justin and Dawn for drug possession.
Damn.
Because when you enter a home like that with a warrant for with a specific thing, for those of you who don't know, if you find other incriminating items or things against someone, you're, like, not allowed, or you're not supposed to use that against them unless it is, like, drugs, something that's just already kind of illegal that you're not specifically searching for to use against them. So
it's like, I get it. Like, I get why we do it, but times like these, I'm like, fucking bend the rules just a little.
Yeah. Well, at least they are arrested, because this is when the case takes another pretty drastic and strange turn. A man who was out on Sacramento San Joaquin River Delta, or that area, on his jet ski, noticed a duffel bag floating on the surface of the water. So he grabbed it and he went back to shore, and when he opened the bag, there was some quite disturbing items inside. In the bag were various body parts.
Oh
The body parts were mixed and matched with genders and ages. One of the body parts had a section of skin removed from the back of the shoulder area, as if a tattoo had been cut off to create identification issues.
What the fuck? And you said that there were multiple people in that bag. What?
After this discovery was made, obviously, authorities were alerted. Over the next couple of days, divers worked to search for more, and even more just surfaced. So over the next couple of days, in total, 9 duffel bags full of body parts were found.
All containing different people's...
Yeah. Pretty much.
Oh
yeah.
my God, it's like a fucking episode out of Dexter.
So Tuesday, August 8th, the day after the raid at the Helzer house, investigators worked to identify the body parts. And on the 9th, the identities of Ivan and Annette Steinman were made. A third victim was identified as Selena Bishop. And those were the only 3 that were dismembered and placed into 9 separate duffel bags.
Oh my God. What a fucking asshole.
Because they were their whole bodies dismembered and placed, not just like arms and legs. It wasn't just body parts. It was like body parts.
Shit, dude.
All 3 victims had been dismembered post-mortem, put into duffel bags, which were later found in the Sacramento-San Joaquin River Delta. So, with Selena, Ivan, and Annette finally being found, investigators can, that's just one more piece of the puzzle that they didn't want to happen, but happened. And so now they can kind of put together an idea of maybe how and why they were killed. DNA evidence did link the deaths of Selena, Ivan, and Annette to the Helzer brothers, as well as Don Godman. Don Godman was identified by the bank manager as being the woman posing as Jackie, trying to deposit money into Selena's account.
Little bitch.
Dawn, naturally, was not in a wheelchair. So that was all for show. Just LOL to that. So what investigators believe happened was that Ivan and Annette Steinman were kidnapped on the 30th and brought to Helzer's house and held for hostage for about 3 or 4 days in order to extort money from them.
Dude.
Both of the Steinmans suffered from multiple stab wounds. Annette's cause of death was said to be a slash to the throat. Ivan's had been because his head was bashed in. At this point, we still don't have evidence linking the Helzer brothers to the murders of Jenny and Jim, and we're still on the search for the 9mm pistol / murder weapon. So, when looking at the Helzer brothers' phone records for maybe just more clues, more leads, whatever, they see a name that frequently pops up. And this is of a 30-year-old Deborah McClanahan. You should see how I spelled McClanahan in my notes, because they didn't show it in the show. It's McClanahan. McClanahan. She was in the Helzer brothers' inner circle, and she was apparently really close friends with Taylor. She was a Wiccan and a Mormon.
Oh. Is that allowed?
So it was said in the show that apparently they contradict each other.
Yeah, because that's Okay.
Yeah, so you do you, girl.
Yeah, so, yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
anyways, I just thought I'd note that because it was kind of funny, but she obviously gets brought in for questioning, and she does reveal that the trio of Justin, Taylor, and Dawn had asked her to hold a safe for them. And she just assumed that there were drugs in there. She never looked, obviously. So, police go to open this safe. They recover it and they go to open it. They find the Steinman's IDs in there, their checkbooks, Selena's driver's license, and at the very bottom, a 9mm handgun.
Oh.
Bingo!
Yeah, shit. That's what they've been looking for. Shit.
So obviously this is the suspected murder weapon they've been looking for all along. And this finally links the Helzer brothers to the murder of Ginny and Jim. So now that most of the puzzle pieces have come together, investigators are thinking that these crimes were just motivated by purely money. But they were not ready for what they heard next.
Okay, wait, no, I thought we were done.
Nope. So remember, Taylor, Justin, and Dawn are still in custody when all of this happens. So when they apprehended or arrested Justin and Dawn at first, like at the raid of the Helzer home, it was kind of obvious to investigators that they were more of like the followers, and by Taylor's erotic behavior, he was not as laid back, kind of. So I don't know when in custody, like I know Justin and Dawn didn't immediately spill the beans on everything, but basically information came out that Taylor and Justin Helzer and Dawn Godman all believed that Taylor was a prophet of God.
Okay, now I see where you get the culty shit from.
Yep. They believed that Taylor was put on Earth to carry out a secret mission by God.
Okay.
Basically, he had been chosen to bring out Christ's second coming.
Of course he was.
But in order to carry out this divine mission, he needed millions of dollars.
I also need millions of dollars to carry out my divine mission. Please fund me.
So Taylor created a secret cult called the Children of Thunder.
That's where we get it from.
The Children of Thunder consisted of the Helzer brothers and Dawn Godman. Children of Thunder actually comes from a Bible verse referring to the sons of thunder, but because Dawn was a woman, Taylor changed the name to Children of Thunder.
Okay.
So it was kind of a nod to Dawn being a woman, which is kind of cool, but whatever.
We can appreciate it being women, but
Yeah.
Still.
Taylor chose the year 2000 specifically to launch this mission because that was when he turned 30, which was the age Jesus was when he started his ministry work. He created the Children of Thunder to overthrow the Mormon Church by using extortion, sex, and murder, all in the name of God.
Because why not? Because God.
I could rant, but I won't. His ultimate goal was to become the new leader of the Mormon Church, I think. It just kind of said new leader in general. So apparently he had this big plan to train a team of Brazilian orphans to go to Salt Lake City, Utah, to slaughter the Mormon Church's leaders.
that came kind of out of left field.
Yeah.
So there's like no backstory as to how he came to that very logical thought that he came up with. It's just it really freaks me out that some people can actually think like that and think that that's like actually sane.
Yeah, and apparently do anything to get
like
to
act
it.
on it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So Taylor also had a plan for when he was in charge. He would implement plans to transform American society in order to defeat Satan. The children of thunder would get on their knees and thank God for the people they murdered because they saw them as sacrifices for their mission.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm not. If you don't know what's wrong with that sentence that Sarah just said, then maybe, we shouldn't be friends.
Dawn Goodman, by the time she was arrested, according to her attorneys and everyone around her, seemed to be sincerely under the strong impression and control of Taylor. When she'd be with her attorneys, she expressed this mindset like, Taylor is going to come for me, everything's fine, everything's going to be okay. So they were just like, okay, she is brainwashed. She literally needed to be deprogrammed and did so successfully with the help of therapy. So that's when, with the help of therapy, she realized she wasn't doing the Lord's work, but instead was assisting in cold-blooded murder.
Yeah.
So because of this realization, she pled guilty and agreed to reveal everything of what happened. Of course, with the exchange of a deal.
Yeah.
And this was a deal of 35 years to life.
Shit.
Yeah. So on March 6th, 2004, so we're years ahead at the trial now, the Helzers are brought to trial. Taylor pled guilty to all charges, which somehow surprised a lot of people. I don't know, maybe they thought he was going to try and fight it. Who knows? But his brother Justin pled not guilty by reason of insanity. Until Don Godman testified, the full story of what happened had not been unearthed. So when she gets on the stand, she states that Justin knew what he was doing and willfully committed his crimes or willfully carried out the mission. So she was basically saying, like, he's not insane. He knew what he was doing. So.
Yeah, exactly what he was doing. Damn.
She reveals that the Steinmans were targeted because Taylor had been their stockbroker, so he knew of their financial status. So they weren't random at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know we're all wondering where Selena came into it, what part she had to play, if any. So it was pretty much concluded that she was chosen to be the launderer of the funds for the Children of Thunder. She was targeted by Taylor because she was young and naive.
Oh.
He obviously lied to her about how he was receiving the $100,000 inheritance. So she was basically turned into a pawn right away.
Like, so fucked up. Oh, man.
When the $100,000 wasn't authorized that day when Jackie went to the bank, Taylor apparently panicked and decided he needed to kill Selena to silence her. So on August 2nd, Selena was murdered.
That's so fucked up and like so fucking unnecessary.
Super. And you know what?
It's just after everything you've done to that poor girl.
You want to know what he even did further to murder her?
No.
When Dawn was on the stand, she even revealed exactly how Taylor murdered Selena. Taylor told Selena he'd give her a massage, a back massage.
Stop.
And when she laid down on her stomach, she was hit over the head with a hammer by Justin. So we know that the victims were dismembered. It's unclear. We know it happened post-mortem. It's unclear where. I assume it happened in the bathroom or something. But what I'm saying is the process of dismemberment is not exactly known. But we do know that in the process of Selena being dismembered, they removed her tattoo that was on the back of her shoulder and fed it to one of their dogs. Oh. Dawn also testifies that Taylor shot Selena's mom, Jenny, because he was afraid that she would go to the police. And she knew what he looked like, obviously, from meeting him that one time. Because we now know that Selena was killed on the 2nd, and Jenny and Jim were killed in the early mornings of the 3rd. Jim Gamble was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. If he wasn't in bed with Jenny that night, he wouldn't have gotten killed. On March 11th, 2005, the Helzer brothers were both found guilty and sentenced to death. In 2011, Justin Helzer attempted suicide in prison by stabbing himself in the eye with a pin. But on April 14th, 2013, he hanged himself in his cell at the age of 41.
I always hate when they do that.
Yeah. And remember, that is the brother who pled not guilty by reason of insanity. So he did make comments early on of how he just wanted to die and stuff. And after the first suicide attempt, he was put under close suicide watch, but that obviously
not
didn't
close
help.
enough.
So,
yeah.
Taylor Helzer is still on death row. So just, to close a little bit on the victims, I don't have a whole lot. I did mention some about Jenny and Selena already, but Jenny was 45 when she was murdered. She was well known and loved by the community. She was known as a hard worker and a loving mother. Selena was 22 when she was murdered. She was hardworking just like her mother, waitress to support herself, and, made that happen to where she moved out and got her own place. Takeaways from Jenny and Selena's death from their family and friends are to appreciate every day, love your friends and family, and that Jenny and Selena were very loved and are very missed. Jim Gamble was 54 when he was murdered. He was a gentle giant, funny, kind, generous, and I do believe he left behind children. I didn't get exact details, but there were mentions of some sons he had. So, Ivan and Annette Steinman were 85 and 78 when they were murdered. They had 2 daughters that they adored, Nancy and Judy. They both worked long careers with Chevron and saved hard for their retirement, which they thoroughly enjoyed. They loved to work in their yard, garden, and their 55th wedding anniversary was just 2 months away at the time of their murder.
My God, I was talking about a wedding anniversary at the beginning of the show.
I know. I didn't want to say anything then, but I was like, damn, that's what I'm going to end on.
It's all connected.
So that was the story of the Children of Thunder.
Not at all. Okay, title is very misleading.
I know.
Wow. The twists and turns that you took me on. Bravo. I'm sad. But
yeah, I know. It wasn't lighthearted. I couldn't do it.
No. Wow.
Sorry. It's not funny, but
No,
It's just
awkward. We get it.
this called and I answered.
Hi,
Hopefully.
Sarah here. What are we going to do about it?
Sarah here.
No, good job. You did a great job. Oh, wow. I don't think I've heard that before, and I definitely have not heard that before, and it was just not at all what I expected.
I couldn't remember if I had heard it before either, but for some reason, some odd reason, the part where the girl comes rolling into the bank into the wheelchair with her lime green outfit, that part seemed familiar. And I don't know if it's because I own a similar outfit or
because it was you in a past life, or
like, I don't know. That was the one part that jogged my memory.
You know, that looks a lot like me from last week. I don't know. Shit, guys. Well, okay. Until next time, be sure to follow us on Twitter.
Are we cheersing?
Oh, yes. Shit. Well, we got to do the other thing, too. I was literally about to say Facebook. Okay. So, cheers to... I know.
Oh, my God.
So, cheers to me not having a hangover tomorrow. Yep, I'll cheers to that.
Cheers to not being in a cult.
That too. Oh, God, man, they always get you. They always get you in the worst ways.
Yeah.
Well, shit, guys. Until next time, be sure to follow us on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and wherever...
Instagram.
Instagram. and wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
At RARW Podcast.
And you know what, guys? If you want to send us an email, you can go ahead and send us one, too.
We'd love to hear your voice.
At Redrum and...
redwinepodcasts@gmail.com.
Thank you. Oh, and wish me a good luck sleep. Okay, bye.